My office. I'm in Munich at a friend's office.
Hi guys.
And I received a question from Roberto. He's commenting quite frequently in the videos, and he said, can you perhaps make a video on how you schedule your day and which apps you use for new work? I'm getting lost and overwhelmed by the different apps, combinations, calendars, etc. I'm struggling with digital and paper solutions and which one to choose and to stick to. I like that question a lot because it's not about an app. That's the point. And as you can tell, I'm a very digital driven person and I really love to work on my computer. Should I pick up the phone? So the thing is, it's not really about the one app, and it's not really about like finding the system. You can lose yourself in optimizing the system for the system's sake. So that was the downside I had with getting things done. Don't get me wrong, I love getting things done. The idea behind it, the processing behind it, that's also a method, GTD, getting things done. But this system tends to like have a lot of maintenance in itself. For example, as I said, this week, it was a very packed week. Monday was full, I couldn't write emails. I rescheduled Tuesday, a flight booked, but I had to take the train because I missed the last train. Wednesday was canceled. So how do you deal with that? Here are my things that I do believe in. What is the actual new work method to organize yourself? I have no clue. I can just share the one I use and organize myself. I don't know if it's new or old, I don't care actually. So I have three things that I usually do. I have the year, I look at the week, and I look at my day. This is pretty much it. I don't care too much about like if it's digital or not digital, but what I do care about is the true source of productivity is the power to say no. Warren Buffett said that. I quote that correctly. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. This also includes that you say no to almost most of the apps that you see out there because you don't have the time to like look at all of them. Saying no to everything also means that I'm really bad with my emails. I'm fast in responding, but I very often have an autoresponder on and I then say I don't check them, so send me a WhatsApp if you really want. So I make it harder for people to reach me, a bit harder. I don't say you cannot reach me, but I make it a bit harder. And training that every day and saying no, which can be like, I don't answer that email, I archive it directly, or I don't react to that post, or I don't look at my Facebook because I don't have the time. This is also kind of saying no to stuff. I use Keep. It's a very simple tool. It can make lists, it can make notes and stuff like that. I will screenshot it. It's not that complicated. I use Keep and I use my calendar, and that's pretty much it. And then I work a lot with messaging services. I just keep my notes in not one place, but like one system. So we have everything in our cloud system, so I know most of the stuff is just one click away. If I really need something, it's just one click away. And then I have these three things. My year, my week, my day. This is usually what I look at. And with the year, what I mean by that is between Christmas and New Year's, my wife and I'm not on my own planning, but my wife and I do a little retreat, a 2-day retreat in going through what did we do that year and what like do we want to do next year. So we brainstorm about to-dos and things we want to reach, and we come up, and that's the result, we come up with a sentence, like a meme for our year. Not a goal or anything, it was just like kind of a what have we decided on a priority. And this year kind of she came up with the idea of saying like, if I don't be good to myself first, then nothing good will happen. So this year we have me first. And you can say this is stupid, I don't care, it's my meme for the year and her meme for the year. But this means we put our priorities in caring about ourselves, which then will help us with our relationship, which then will help us with the business, with the kids, with our friends and all that stuff around. So this is that for this year, and we will see what will come up next year. So I use that priority, whatever it is, go through all the weeks. I said that in one of my other videos that I go through all the weeks. I really do that. I check all the weekends and all the weeks if there's anything I might oversee. And that's not that hard. You do that in like an hour, maybe 1.5. You go through every week and make kind of a small decision and say like, I'm going on vacation there, or I'm not going on vacation there, I'm staying here. And even if you don't plan every single week, you kind of have an overview, and that overview helps you to think of if that's realistic, because the thing that brings you off track is when you recognize on the way that this doesn't work, your main priority. And then I do that from day to day, setting my top 5. And that's the only method I use for doing that. And I know it sounds sad because everyone thinks like I have a crazy fancy tool that reminds me, but no, this is how I do it. I literally take my phone, I take the keep notes, I skip through my mails, my Slack messages, my Drive folder, I mark all the important files here with a star, scroll through them, and brainstorm, is there anything important that I can think of? With having that in mind, I know my top priorities, I know them. Write these top 5 things down, and writing down is important. The top number 1 is something I can usually finish after getting up, so that I can do in like 30 to 45 minutes. I had that in one of the other videos, but anyhow. Number 2 is the big task, that's the big guy, 1 to 2 hours if I have something like that. Number 3 is then again a medium task, so max an hour. 4 and number 5 are small things. And small things doesn't necessarily mean they're not important. They should be important and relate back to your goals. Tools I use for reminding though is then definitely my phone, so everything needs to be related back to the phone, but as I said, all the stuff I need is on one click away. Nothing fancy, nothing really fancy. Using the calendar, but for example being smart on using the calendar, like not having a meeting on the standard size of 1 hour, but these 15-minute things. Making quick decisions, like when you open an email, not to write him back and say, yeah, we should do that later, or let's meet next week. No, make the decision in that moment. And this is more about training and like following that method and following the priority and like going after your priority and not like other priorities. I think that's the most important thing. There is always an email to answer. There's always a task to do. There's always someone you have to do something for. But if you do that all day long, you're always following, and no app can help you with that. No app, no reminder, nothing. No matter if you use Evernote, Google Keep, Wunderlist, whatever tool, the Google Calendar, it doesn't really matter. This thing matters because it sets the priorities. But anyhow, I hope that was helpful to you guys, and I will make the next video back from the office, I think. Maybe not, but sure. See you guys next week.